Okay, let's talk about Hawthorne and his story, My Kinsman, Major Molineux. Hawthorne was famous for his short stories that went back into American history to tell some dark truths about especially the Puritans, but other subjects as well. Um, Mostly the Puritans, though. A lot of his stories talk about the hypocrisies and inconsistencies of Puritanism. In fact, Hawthorne changed the spelling of his name so that he would not be associated with his Puritan ancestors. William Hawthorne, spelled without the W, was one of the judges that sentenced people to death in Salem for being witches. So Nathaniel has many stories that deal with the dark days of Puritanism. You may have read one of his most famous novellas, The Scarlet Letter. That story tackles the hypocrisy of religious Puritans who let people suffer because of their own sins. Now, this story is about a young man who has gone to the city to make his way in the world. And he's going to make his way in the world because he has a very powerful uncle in his family. And this uncle has offered to help him rise in the world. If his uncle is so powerful, then why is everyone so angry when young Robin asks them about his kinsman, Major Molineux? Well, of course, if we read the story, we know that the entire town has planned to seize the major in order to tar and feather him. And we can guess that this activity is related to the very opening of the story, in which Hawthorne tells us of the British people who were put in charge of American colonies only to wear out their welcome and be driven out. Americans have always liked their independence. So this story, like Irving's story that we read before, is about the change that took place between the time when the place was a colony and when it was a state in a free republic. Robin has come to make his fortune because he is a shrewd and smart lad, he tells everybody. He believes that he'll be able to procure a position of wealth and prestige just because he has a powerful uncle. But he soon learns that in the American colonies, people don't get a head start because they know somebody. Americans work hard for everything they get. It's not who you know, but what you know that gets you ahead. And that is the lesson that shrewd young Robin learns. As he is waiting in the town square with the kindly old gentleman, he sees his kinsman, Major Molineux, as he passes by. The people have tarred and feathered him, which is really quite cruel. It's a really awful way of humiliating somebody. After being tarred and feathered, a lot of people actually didn't survive. So this is a very cruel thing to do on the part of the townspeople. But perhaps something led them to it. I mean, we figured out that the Indians probably had a reason for attacking Mary Rowlandson's family. And we learned from Thomas Jefferson and Thomas Paine that the colonists had many reasons to break off their connection with England. So what did the major do to anger so many people? And another thing, there is a man that Robin first sees at the inn. He has a prominent forehead, long nose, and bushy eyebrows. And the next time Robin sees him, the same man has changed his appearance so that half his face is black and the other half is red. What does this man symbolize? When Robin makes eye contact with his uncle, he doesn't cry or gasp or try to help. Instead, he laughs, and he laughs louder than anybody there. Why? Is that part of his shrewdness? And is that why the kindly old gentleman that's with him at the end of the story encourages him to stay in that town and make his own way?